I'd offer you something to drink, but that would indicate I want you to stay.
I know you don't want me to stay.
And yet,
We're still trying to process the shocking finale of Lioness Season 2. As we catch our breath, one question looms. If Paramount Plus gives the green light, how will the show handle a third season? What started as an intense look into the lives of women in the CIA, balancing high-risk missions and impossible moral choices, has spiraled into a chaotic, adrenaline-fueled ride. One that has touched on everything from child trafficking to cartel operations and even a looming global showdown between China and Taiwan. Taylor Sheridan's writing moved at such a relentless pace this season that it was almost impossible to keep up. But as for Season 3, nothing is confirmed yet. Here's what's known so far. How Lioness. Season 2 ended. Before diving into what might happen next, it's worth looking at how Season 2 wrapped up, because that ending might have left a few people screaming. After a tense Thanksgiving dinner turned political debate, Lioness kept the stakes sky high. When the characters weren't yelling at each other, they were prepping for their next high-risk mission, often training to heavy metal music. The storyline felt like a chaotic plate of mashed potatoes and gravy, messy, intense, and impossible to look away from. The season kicked off with a congresswoman being kidnapped at the U.S.-Mexico border, only to spiral into an international crisis involving China's plans to invade Taiwan. Meanwhile, Joe's team struggled to stay afloat, especially after adding a new member, Silo, whose arrival only added to the chaos. In Episode 7, the Lioness crew returned to Basra, Iraq, on a covert mission to intercept enemy intelligence. But things got even more complicated back home. Caitlin had taken control of the cartel Los Tigres, while Joe's niece, Josefina, was now a U.S. soldier. The balance of power started shifting, but Pablo, Josefina's father, was the one who had to decide whether to get involved. The final episode saw Joe and her team pushing deep into enemy territory along the Iraq-Iran border. After nearly dying in a previous mission, Joe was physically drained, but that didn't stop her from picking up a gun and throwing herself back into the fight. At the same time, Cayenne and Brian tried to gain Pablo's trust, promising him security in the U.S. Meanwhile, a serious nuclear threat was unfolding. China's scientists had been activated, signaling an imminent crisis. As the mission escalated, aerial assaults and a devastating crash left the team battered. Not everyone made it out unscathed. But in the end, the president's backup forces arrived just in time to turn the tide. Joe returned home, exhausted and emotionally wrecked, but waiting for her was an unexpected reconciliation, offering a rare glimmer of hope after the season's brutal events. What's next for Lioness? Season 2 ended with major questions. How will the team recover? What challenges lie ahead? And of course, will there even be a Season 3? Interestingly, the conversation around the Lioness universe isn't just about a third season. In a recent interview with Deadline, Zoe Saldaña, who plays Joe, pitched the idea of a Lioness prequel. While discussing her other projects, including the next Avatar film, she shared her thoughts on exploring Joe's past and how she first met Caitlin, played by Nicole Kidman. Saldaña even compared the potential prequel to 1923, the Yellowstone spin-off, suggesting a parallel storyline that could deepen the show's world. She's particularly interested in how Caitlin recruited Joe, especially given that intense scene where Michael Kelly's character Byron told Joe she was irreplaceable in the field. How did Caitlin find Joe? What led to their partnership? A prequel could answer those questions, offering a fresh perspective on the Lioness universe. The future of Lioness. Season 3. While Season 3 hasn't been officially confirmed, Saldaña's comments have sparked hope. In the same interview, she revealed that her contract includes at least 3 seasons. "I signed up for 3 seasons at least," she stated, suggesting that a renewal might just be a matter of time. Of course, contracts don't always guarantee a show's continuation, but it's a promising sign. Saldaña also spoke highly of Taylor Sheridan, praising his ability to craft gripping stories with unique pacing. His presence as a writer and showrunner has been a major asset for Paramount+, and given the show's strong performance, Lioness seems like a solid bet for renewal. As for returning cast members, the core team is expected to stay intact. Saldaña's Jo, Nicole Kidman's Caitlin, and Morgan Freeman's Secretary of State Edwin Mullins are all likely to return. The tension between Jo and her CIA superiors, particularly Michael Kelly's Byron, is expected to continue playing a central role. Dave Annable, who plays Jo's husband Neil, is also likely to return. Beyond that, Lioness will probably introduce new operatives while phasing out or replacing some existing characters, especially after the losses in Season 2. If the show maintains its momentum, a Season 3 announcement could come sooner rather than later. And with that, the production might be more streamlined to keep up with audience demand. Fingers crossed. What to expect in Season 3? If Lioness does return, it will likely continue weaving real-life conflicts into its high-stakes drama. Taylor Sheridan has a reputation for grounding his stories in reality, whether it's Yellowstone, 1883, or now Lioness. With Season 2 already tackling international crises and military operations, Season 3 could push even further into real-world espionage and geopolitical conflicts. That's part of what makes Lioness so gripping. The missions, while fictional, feel eerily close to real intelligence operations. The show doesn't shy away from moral ambiguity, showing how covert missions impact both the agents involved and the world at large. Expect more ethical dilemmas, more personal struggles, and, of course, more high-intensity action. Season 3 could introduce new operatives, dive deeper into existing characters, and explore how intelligence agencies continue to evolve in response to global threats. The question is, where will Lioness take us next? That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for more updates, and as always, leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below.